Another episode of Lions Den. I'll tell you today. Oh, I see you, Lou. I see you, Daniel. I see you, Keyshawn. I see you, Brulio, as well, too. I want to just start by saying first, before we even get started, gentlemen, what's so interesting about today is you're going to notice something. Inside this room is now only for a very select group of people. Inside this room that you can actually see the faces of is only for select people, because we now also have a live audience that's watching us. And the only people that get to be exclusively in this room are the Lions that contribute and the Lions that have given the time and dedication to be here. So you're going to see some fewer numbers. You're going to see Lions that are now starting to amalgamate together the right way, and only the ones that are going to roar are the ones that we want to walk into 2025 with. So I just wanted to open it up with that, because I just love this energy, and I want you guys to know that there's going to be some people tuning in from all around the world. So again, I want to just give a shout out to my guys like Daniel and Lou and Brulio that are coming in the house. Keyshawn's in the house. We got Steve coming into the house, and all of those that are watching now, watching the webinar, watching the recording. This is a chance for you to start to understand what it means to become an executive lion, because when you are a lion, you are roaring, and roaring is what we're going to talk about today. So I just want to welcome you all today and say thank you for being here. You know, today was quite interesting. I just about a half an hour ago, I was in my elevator, right? I was going up the elevator, and it was crazy because while I was going up the elevator, I was the first one on the elevator. And then all of a sudden the doors open and one person walks in, and then second person walks in, and then third person walks in. All different floors, situated on different. Man, everyone's all three of them standing there on their phones. I'm like, shit, well, what happened about the elevator speech? Isn't this the time that we're supposed to connect in this one quick second that we have on an elevator? Everyone's glued to their phones. Why do I say this? Because I was standing there in the elevator. And by the way, gentlemen, today has been an incredible day, incredible, powerful day. But also today has been one of the biggest headaches that I've been able to actually incur and feel. And while I was going up the elevator with this headache, it wasn't even about my headache anymore. It was about standing there and seeing three other gentlemen that were standing in that elevator with no regard to any, hey, how are you, any type of connection. It was sitting on their phones looking at how they get closer to their floor, which I get it. Fair enough. It's your building. It's the building. You're going to your home. But what I realized in that moment of me having a headache and thinking it's still bigger than myself is that we're all facing pain. We're all facing pain. We're going to talk about pain today. Pain is going to be our topic. How to turn pain into pleasure, but how to turn pain into profit. Ooh. How do you do that? How do you turn pain into profit? That could be an interesting topic. But before we even get there, gentlemen, I want you guys to understand pain, thoughts, momentum, patterns comes down to why we connect here every single week. We come here every single week because we are men that want to stand up as the lions, to roar and to become the kings that we deserve to be. We come here for three simple words: brotherhood, the brotherhood between men. The only time you look down at another man is when you're picking him back up. The blessings from above. Our God has a very big plan for us, and it's a lot bigger than what we think individually. And the more that you can commit to God, the more that God will give you that life back. And of course, we have breakthroughs. Breakthroughs may be something I say today. It may be something you think today. It may be something another lion shares today. But be open for those breakthroughs, because they're all around you. It's a matter of which ones you want to actually take in, learn, yes, but truly implement, like we talk about. Learning stuff nowadays is a lot. There's too much stuff out there. Which ones are you actually strategically aligning with yourself to implement so it makes a difference in your world? Now, why I mentioned pain today is because, yes, headache. I'm not the guy. I'll tell you right now, funny enough, I'm not the guy that actually talks about that bullshit. But today was a day where I was like, woo, this headache is coming in. But I started to realize, the more and more that I realized of even standing in that elevator, realizing that people are just there, you know, just in their own momentum and nobody really cares, is that we all go through pain. Every man on this call and every man that's watching this call, especially those that are now tuning in from all over the world at the moment, I want us to understand pain. pain, if done the right way, can not only lead you to that pleasure, but to those profits, to the profits. Because our pain is our story. And our story makes us important. Our story makes us unique. Our story signifies the fact that each one of our fingerprints is completely different. It doesn't matter that we all came out the womb, our mother's womb. We're all uniquely independent. And as much as that's awesome to be like, hey, Jay, I love it, man. You're saying that I'm independent. I'm a 1 in a billion. I get it, man. I'm a lion. I get it. I get it. No, this isn't for just motivation. This is for tactics that you can actually utilize to become the best, not only just in your industry, but the best for yourself. The best for yourself before we start to think about all these other things. Because today I really want to talk about pain being a drug. Pain being a drug that you are now consumed towards, because the more that you're addicted to the pain that's going to drive your results. It's going to drive your energy. That pain is actually the source of your future. If you know how to handle it, if you know how to understand it. You know, when I look at guys like Lou in the house, man, Lou's got some incredible experience that he's been able to share on the calls. Personal experience that he's been able to, but those painful experiences have made Lou into the man that he is. Absolutely, right, Lou? Absolutely. And at the time, we don't really think about it, because at the time we're dealing with the pain, we feel, oh, shit, man, I got to deal with this. How do I deal with this? How do I get out of it? But then when you start to, like, you know, a couple of years go by and a couple of things go by, you're like, damn, I had to go through that. Like that, okay, that makes sense. I had to go through that in order to get here. That's allowing me now to be able to position myself right. And those regrets sometimes come up, come down, but it comes down to, again, you and the power that you hold. So today we're going to talk about pain. Pain as a drug, but more importantly, as men, what we feel, what we have to face. As men, it's a little bit different, because the pain that we experience, it's so hard to vocalize. We don't like to talk about it. We were never conditioned to talk about it. We sit here and we start to think to ourselves in our own mind. We say, you know, I lost someone very important to my life. You know, I think about my business going up, my business failing, especially the business owners. I'm going to tell you, talk to a little bit about business today as well, too. We're going to talk about money. But then we get into family. Then we get into family. And then when we fail on family and we feel pain within our family, we feel we're not contributing enough as men towards the family unit. And that results into the last and final pain, the mental pain that we experience as men. You see, the mental pain that we experience as men, we don't talk about, because at that point, we've already either bottled up enough bullshit to forget about it or suppress it, or I can't really focus on it because everyone's relying on me. You see that? You see, babies are unconditionally loved because they're new humans into the world. You see, cats and dogs are loved because they become a part of the family. You see, women, which could be the contesting factor of this whole man versus woman debate, but women are unconditionally loved because every single man on this call knows that he came from a mother, and he'll always respect and love the fact that he came from his mom. But men are only unconditionally loved when we provide something, whether it's our time, whether it's our effort, whether it's our money, whether it's our energy. We have to provide in order to be reciprocated. And for years and years and decades, it's happened because of the leadership that's taken place with men. Because we as men have been leaders, Roman emperors, presidents, successful business entrepreneurs. Elon Musk, $400 billion net worth right now. He's creeping $500 billion. Leadership still comes from the origin of who and what man is willing to deal with pain. Pain is one of the most incredible virtues that we can start to understand. Today, I want to decode it. I want to break it down, but I just want to also acknowledge some of the guys that have come into the room here as well too. I see you, Sydney. You're driving, man. Be safe. Jordan, I see you, my man. Julian coming in the house as well too. Mr. Brown, always a pleasure. You know, we're getting some incredible gentlemen that are joining the call, and those that are watching in, those that are tuning in, those that are starting to understand the momentum. I want to refresh you guys. We do this, gentlemen, every single week. We come together as lions to roar, to uncage our roar. We so many times get ourselves focused on being in this cage because of the mindset, because of the physicality. But today we're going to talk about pain, and I want to break this down because pain can be the virtue that I talked about. Pain can be the pivotal moment. The pivotal moment. Do you take in pain saying, fuck, that was a bullshit, man. I had to deal with that. Or are you taking pain as in like, yep, I had to go through that. Yep. That was the purpose. Okay. Let's brush it off. Let's keep going. How are we failing forward? John Maxwell talks about failing forward, leadership 101. How are we actually failing forward? How are we utilizing our pain and bringing our pain to understanding how to fuel us into the person, the lion, the king that we deserve to be? Now, I want to break this down into simple 3 points because I want to keep it simple today. I don't need to go on and on about different stories and examples and all this kind of stuff. I need to break this down 3 things so that we can get to the lions that are on this call that want to be able to share in, chime in, and be able to explain and express where you're at. Because this is what Lions Den was designed to be. It was designed to be a safe haven for men to come together to truly be able to emotionalize, connect, and communicate in the most authentic way. The roar that we have inside. And the first thing that I want to bring up today is just feel pain. For those that are writing notes, I want you to write down feel pain. Feel pain. Because I want us to understand we don't want to feel pain. I don't want to wake up in the morning and do a cold shower, but I do it because I have to feel the pain, because I understand if I put myself through pain in the morning, it's going to make my day easier. I don't care if pain is as simple as a cold shower. I don't care if pain is as strong as losing someone or losing yourself at some point and being at rock fucking bottom. What we have to understand is that pain still becomes that playing field. It's our foundational part. Because if we can't understand and accept our pain, it's hard to build on top of that. We can build it. We can cheat it. We can manipulate it. We'll probably build pretty high. I've seen a lot of people in my networks that have created products that don't fulfill and that have made millions of dollars of money, made driving around Lamborghinis, and all of a sudden 3 years, IRS is chasing you out of the country. Not the right place. Pain is the way that you want to articulate and understand, because we want it all. We want the success. We want the happiness. We want the money, cars, clothes, whatever we seek in our vision boards, we could say. Let's call it a vision board for now. But we're not understanding what is the pain that I'm willing to go through in order to get it. What is the pain that I'm willing to go through in order to get it? And if I can get clear on the pain versus even the goal, I think that's bigger than the goal. Because like, what am I willing to sacrifice? What am I willing to put on the line? What am I willing to really, truly surrender myself to not only God, because that's the first thing and the most important thing, but God also wants you to understand yourself. To surrender to yourself means that you have to accept the pain that you're going to feel. You're going to accept the pain that's going to allow you to level to the level that you want to be at. So when we understand this, I want us to just think about this every morning when we're waking up in the morning. Waking up is, guys, I always talk about this, waking up and your internal morning routine is the most important thing that you can do. I don't care if you're a 4 a.m. guy like me. I'm a 3:55 in the morning guy, and I beat my alarm clock every single day, and I get it. You don't have to be 4 a.m. You got to find your time, and you need to be clear on giving yourself time in the morning to feel pain, to feel yourself, to be yourself. Get your ass to the gym. Push yourself. Get your ass to read a book and feel uncomfortable. Get your ass to do things in the morning in your internal morning routine before the world wakes up, before you're dealing with the world, before you're dealing with the family and you're dealing with the business and the team and the kids and everything that else that comes with the life of a man. But to truly just give yourself that time. And that's why I wanted today to be more focused on pain. Because it's like, how are we actually positioning ourselves the right way to feel pain? To feel pain. The second thing that I really want to get through is once you start feeling pain and you're giving yourself permission. See, gentlemen, that's the key, is giving yourself permission to feel pain. Once you've felt pain, now you're feeling pain and you're actually giving yourself that acknowledgement. Now, the second step is you got to trust yourself. Gentlemen, I've seen this time after time, and that's why I do this every single week and come together with lions from across the world, because I see this as we are lions wanting to roar. Most of us on the call are roaring. We're doing well. We're doing good. We're doing big things. We've had some incredible people chime into the Lions Den. But are you truly trusting yourself? Because most of the time we stop and we question. Most of the time we stop and we question. I don't care if it's about business. I don't care if it's about family. I don't care what it is. You're indecisive. You know it. You look at things and you're like, I could go left, I could go right. What's my risk tolerance? What's my this? What's my this? What's my this? But you know that deep down inside, your first thought was already right. So instead of thinking the first right, oh, we're like, oh, I gotta go A, B now. I gotta go no. But like, is it really right? Like, you know, I've kind of messed up a couple of times. So should I like reframe? No, but I am so confident. I'm a confident guy. I'm a confident guy. No, I got this. I got it. But like, I'm just like thinking to myself here, like, but see, that's the A, B. When we were talking about thought patterns, when we were talking about our subconscious mind a couple of weeks ago, we decoded that. We went into the subconscious mind and we figured out exactly how the mind is creating solution A versus B and the C that's sitting in the back seat. Right? Level 1 is I am angry. Level 2 is I'm having a thought that I'm angry. And level 3 is I believe I'm having a thought that I am angry. Once you can disassociate the actual problem, it starts to make more sense. So to give this to you is trusting yourself is one of the most important things. It's not just the belief in self, because belief is about getting motivated. Like listening to self-help and listening to some incredible people, you know, most of our my coaches and mentors, you know, people like Tony Robbins, and, you know, we see Grant Cardone, we see these incredible people that are very motivational. They're very motivational, which is good because it pumps you up, it gets you going, and it's powerful. But that's not trusting yourself. Trusting yourself is knowing that, look, I've been through 10 years of bullshit. I've been through 10 years of fucking bullshit, pain, shit that people will never even understand. I don't even know how to articulate all the shit that I've been through. But guess what? I'm trusting myself to knowing that God had a plan for me. And I was able to take that on. And I was able to continuously push with myself, trust myself to knowing that I'm making the right decision. Like truly, wholeheartedly having 100% conviction in the way that you actually wake up in the morning and say that to yourself. The way that you look at yourself in the mirror. You know, for many years, I was very embarrassed to look at myself in the mirror. I couldn't do it. I didn't like it. I was making millions of dollars, just mind you, millions of dollars on one side, and absolutely fucking ashamed of looking myself in the mirror. You know, what did I say to myself? I was like, do I really trust myself? Like, do I? Like, I trust myself making money, but do I trust myself? Do I trust myself to being the best man that I can absolutely be, and putting myself to that level of knowing that that pain that I'm dealing with is for a reason, and I need to keep forcing myself into that pain, because if I force myself into that pain, I'm going to see more results. That started changing up the game for me. You know, Elon Musk, you know, I talked about it earlier, and I want to bring him back up because, first of all, not only is this man at the $400 billion level, that's a lot of numbers, okay? I love math because that's an increase of about 66% in the last, I think it was like, what was it, like the last year or last 6 months or whatever it was. The point is, though, he said something very specific that I want to share with you gentlemen on the call tonight. He said, being an entrepreneur is very simple, but not easy. He said, it's looking into the abyss and it's eating glass. So what does that mean? Looking into the abyss and eating glass. Looking into the abyss as an entrepreneur, as a lion, is thinking about every single thing that's going to go wrong in your life, in your world, and everything that could be derailed. So guess what? Not very positive, is it? Not positive motivation, right? Just like the positive affirmations, man. I am great. I am awesome. No. This is looking into the abyss because it's just the abyss. Like there is 20 million things that could go wrong in my life right now. My wife, my this, my business, my this. So as a leader, as a man, as an entrepreneur, we are looking into the abyss. We are looking at what is going to go wrong at all costs. And the second part that he said was, it's like eating glass. And what that means is, how long are you willing to feel the pain of eating glass? Like, how long are you willing to do it? Because there's people in the world that come in and they go, I'll do 3 years of it. I'll do 5 years of it. I'll do 10 years of eating glass and then they quit. But how long are you willing to continuously eat glass, to continuously put yourself through fucking pain over and over and over again, because you know the results are coming right around the corner? This is what we do as entrepreneurs and investors. We look at substantial risk. The actual definition of an entrepreneur is someone that takes substantial amount of risk to then gain a reward. So if we're all entrepreneurs, or we're thinking, I hate that term entrepreneur nowadays, because we all call each other entrepreneurs, or we are entrepreneurs, but guess what? Who's willing to take a risk? Like when Elon Musk sold his company for $180 million, PayPal to eBay, he took 100 million of that, put it into SpaceX. He took 50 million of that and put it into Tesla, and he put $30 million into Solar City. So he sold his company for $180 million. He knocked on his best friend's door and he said, yo, bro, can I just sleep on your couch? And his best friend looks at him and he goes, oh, what do you mean you want to sleep on my couch, man? You just sold your company for $180 million. How much are you willing to bank on yourself? How much are you willing to go through the pain, the sacrifice, and surrendering everything you possibly can to knowing what the future outcome is? How much are you willing to bank on yourself, like you're trying to bank on crypto, or you're banking on real estate, or you're banking on the next get rich fucking quick scheme? I'm not saying those are get rich quick schemes. I actually just said two very, very powerful avenues before I said the get rich quick part. Let's just clarify there for a second. Because crypto and real estate is the game. But outside that, I want you to understand, like when you start to trust yourself and you start to actually believe in the momentum of you knowing now, as Elon did, as he was able to bank on himself, now he's sitting there 400 billion. 400. That's more numbers and digits than people can even comprehend. But he just came off, and he started off the same way that every single man on this call is. Every single man on this call has the exact same opportunity, and it doesn't even matter about age. I don't care if you're 20 years old or young guys like Brulio on the call, or I don't care if you're mid-sized like myself, or an aged veteran on the call. The point is that you have experience, you have a life, you have something inside of you, and you've gone through more pain than people can even understand. The only question is how to package it now. Now let's talk about some money. Let's talk about the profits, right? Because getting to the pain into the pleasure is one thing. I've given you some tips already that can get you from pain to pleasure. When you start trusting and believing in yourself and actually feeling that pain, yeah, you can do that. But how do we profit from that now? How do we profit from the pain that we've actually gone through? And that comes down to my third thing, which is going to sound hilarious to you guys. When I was just thinking about this, and I was like, if I can feel the pain, right? And I can trust myself. If I can feel the pain and I can trust myself, well, what would be the only third logical step next? Let's never fucking quit. And I put never quit, but I want you to write never fucking quit on your paper if you're writing notes. Because the thing is that what we don't understand about that statement of never fucking quit is we're not actually thinking, what does that mean to me? Like, what does that actually mean to me? Because like, if you told me, look, quitting. I'm not a quitter. I'm focusing. I'm trying. I love the word try. Remove that out of your vocabulary, gentlemen. If you ever say try, call yourself out on it. If you hear somebody say try, say try. Try. What do you mean you try? That means you're already setting yourself up for failure, because I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to hit the gym. I'm trying to, show up on Thursday to move your couch. No, try is a failure statement. It's already subconsciously programming you to fail. So when we say never quit, I want us to understand, why is it that we show up? Like, why do we actually show up in every single day? People call it your purpose. They call it your why. They say all these different terminologies out there right now, figuring out, your goals and everything like that. But truly, what's actually going to drive you to not quit? For me, it's feeding children, educating youth, and working alongside today's leaders to make a better tomorrow. That is my God-given purpose that I actually received about 3 years ago. Actually, right there. I can point that at the hotel that I was staying at when I first moved to Tampa. And I still remember that day like the back of my hand. And some of the gentlemen on the call know that day. And that day was a very powerful day. I just moved here, closed a $3.5 million real estate deal. I just moved out during the COVID pandemic, came out here, living a beautiful lifestyle of Miami, $10,000 a night bottle services, partying like a fucking animal, like an animal, until I had to be awoken. I had to be awoken the right way, because there was only one way to awake the lion that was trapped and caged inside myself. And that was God. God was the only being and energy that could unlock me. So that day that I was supposed to leave my hotel room and I had gotten all ready, I was about to meet up 6 girls. We were going to go party and birthday, this, bottle service, all this. And I walked up to that door and my hand froze. Gentlemen, when I say my hand froze, look, I'm a very logical being. Okay. I believe in God. Absolutely. I'm a Freemason. I believe in the architecture, the architect of our being. But I'll tell you one thing. When my hand froze, it was that logical step now. It was the logic that also took on the spirituality. It was my hand freezing and my heart sinking into my stomach and me feeling to myself, holy and I heard something. Don't open the door. And that was the scariest fucking moment of my life. Literally the scariest moment. Because you just imagine if you just heard something right now out loud, like, it's just a very, very different experience. I froze. I walked back into my room. I sat there. I had a conversation with my maker. He gave me that message. He said, feed children, educate youth, and work alongside today's leaders to make a better tomorrow. That calling was put on top of me so that I could now understand that it's about never quitting anymore. I can't quit. What am I going to quit? I'm going to quit on feeding children. I'm going to quit on educating the youth, the next gen. My companies are labeled next gen. Next gen properties, our real estate division. Next gen wealthy, our consulting division. Next gen collective now, our mastermind and collaborative collection. What am I going to quit? Purpose became real. Purpose became an actual measurable result because of the spirituality that I've received. So I want you gentlemen, I want the lions on the call. I want you guys to understand that even with this momentum change, 2025 and everyone that's talking about new goals and all this pressure, don't worry about that. Don't be fazed by the noise. You be fazed on the trajectory that you're on. I don't mind taking another 10 years. I don't need billions next year, but I know I'll be a billionaire. So I'll take another 10 years. That's cool. Have the longevity in mind. Have the trajectory in mind. That's what allows you to not quit, is when you see the plan in front of you and allow yourself now that breathing room to feel the pain, to understand it, because you're trusting yourself to go, hey, I'm going through this journey. Yeah. All right. Am I ready for my next battle? All right. Perfect. Just like boxers, right? Like boxers, like Floyd Mayweather, man. That's an incredible example. That man wakes up, he's getting trained up, and he's going into a boxing ring, he's going to fight. He's a little bit of a different breed of people, I'll tell you right now, because he's a defense, not an offense. And most people go like, wow, you're 51-0. You must beat the shit out of a lot of people. It's like, no, you know what? People just can't touch me. Interesting. Like 51 men tried right? Tried. 51 men tried and 51 men failed. That's why he has an undefeated record. He's undefeated in the boxing game because he was able to understand these principles. He was able to understand the momentum of what he is as the man that he is, the pain that he definitely has gone through to become champ. But ultimately, the never quit mindset. The never quit mindset. So when we can start to understand this, guys, I want to just be able to, we're hitting the 30 mark. And when I hit the 30 mark, I always like to change up gears. I always like to make sure that we're going to get some guys involved in the conversation. I want you guys to be able to chime in with your experiences and everything like that. So we're going to get to that. But before I do, I just also want to just preset this as well too. Today's topic has been about pain. Today's topic has been about the pain that we deal with as men and how we can turn this pain that we have into the pleasure, but most importantly, into the profits as well too. Being able to signify your story and your experience and the things that you've gone through and being able to package that and position that in the right way based on products and services and everything that we can do. We can talk about business. We can talk about systems and structures. And I got JC on the call. He's the wizard that deals with all of that. We're servicing clients across the globe right now, doing some incredible things because it's a system. It's a basic system. For many years, I was out there connecting with thousands of people. I was at conferences. I was spending $20,000 to sit front row with Grant Cardone guys. I'm chilling. I'm doing my thing. But I had no idea what to do with that data that I was actually collecting. I was getting people's phone numbers. I was taking pictures. Oh, wow, that was a millionaire. That's a cool guy. Wow, this is awesome. I had no idea how to segregate that data and put that data into significant places and then be able to track that and then be able to convert that into the multi-million-dollar deals that we do today. Like it only just took a basic system. But what I want to share with you guys that's going to now, switch us up towards being able to open up the call, and I want you guys to be able to chime in here as well too, is that in 2025, I'm giving you guys a sneak peek. Lions Den is changing. Lions Den, I've been doing this 2.5 years now. 2.5 years, we show up here 8 o'clock EST on the Lions Den call, no matter what. Regardless of my headache, regardless of what country I'm in, regardless of what time zone, regardless of how I feel, regardless of what pain, no, it's a commitment. It's a commitment that I've set to myself and I've set to every gentleman on the call today. That's what I do every single week, regardless of how I feel. And what we're going to now do in 2025 is I want to be able to now take the next addition to Lions Den, the 2.0 you could call, for all these episodes that we've been able to accumulate. And the 2.0 version is going to be a little different. And when I say a little different, I'm saying, yes, there's going to be value add. Yes, there's going to be episodes just like this where I can give you some value, some insight, some experience of what I've gone through and open up the call for you guys. But most importantly, the second one is I want to interview my network. I don't have a podcast and I don't want one. Everyone, you don't even know how many people have told me, Jay, you need a podcast. And I'm like, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to do it. Because first of all, I want a talk show. I want a talk show. Okay. And the only way to become a talk show is to make sure that there's enough men and powerful people on a call. And then I bring one of my very, very powerful people on the call. Only select group of people, not just like 120 million episodes. No, 10 people. So next year we are going to signify 10. And I'm working on the last two because I haven't been able to close them yet. And those are very big names. The last two are the very, very big ones. But each month I'm going to now do an interview series where I'm going to actually bring in my network. I'm going to bring in some powerful speakers, powerful leaders, thought real estate developers and investors, people that have mobilized capital on the multi-million-dollar scales. Maybe Elon Musk will be in 2026. Let me just point that out right now, because I know Dan's looking at me. He's like, yo, is he bringing Elon on? No, not yet. That's going to be a 2026 thing, and we're getting ready for it, okay? We're getting ready for it. But I want us to understand that interviews are going to also take place. The third thing that I want us to know is I want it to be interactive. Gentlemen, this call is not for me. As much as I love to talk, I'm a speaker. You'll know this. But this call is for you. So I want you guys to be able to use this as a safe haven. I want you to use this as a platform. I want you to be able to leverage the interactional experience, especially those that are live on the call and those that are watching the webinar series, because there's people outside of even the call that we can see right now that are watching us in, tuning us in. And that's how much more bigger we're going to grow this now. And the final thing is going to be my favorite one, that is by due demand, especially with a guy like King Kobe in the house, especially with Chris Williamson in the house, especially with Mr. Brown in the house, is the call is going to be about deal flow. What deals do you have? And how do we raise capital to get them done? You know, I learned something very, very powerful recently, and it was a millionaire makes money by solving somebody's problem. And a billionaire makes money by getting somebody else to solve somebody else's problem. I want us to all just marinate on that for a quick second and just understand, if you are buying or you are selling a product, you're at the bottom of the chain. You're on the bottom of the chain. Trust me. And I'm with you guys. Like, I'm not saying, like, trust me, I'm not saying that, you know, like, I'm above and beyond. I'm an Elon Musk. No. What I'm saying is that we are all playing on this field of not understanding how the billionaires think. Billionaires are on a different frequency. They're thinking and understanding and positioning different ways that's allowing them to accumulate $400 billion worth of net worth. Well, too. And gentlemen, this should go to show exactly what we've talked about today. We talked about pain today. We talked about the pain that we deal with as men, the bullshit that we have to deal with each and every single day. But if we start to quantify it, we start to put it into simple steps to understand that I gotta feel the pain, I gotta trust myself, and I gotta never quit. If I can understand just simple principles that allow me to wake up and have purpose throughout my day, it's going to allow me to have the momentum and the power to continue that momentum. Because everyone and anyone can start, but not everyone can finish. Gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for investing in yourselves to actually show up on a call like this, because the men that are on this call are really focused on being the best versions of themselves. Thank you for joining us this week, and I cannot wait to see you next week, 8 p.m. EST on the Lions Den. Gentlemen, good night. God bless. Take care.